Laura A. Grace here, the author of Dear Author, Letters from a Bookish Fangirl, Team Lines of Poetry collection. I'm finding an anime devotional for otakus, which is free on a variety of platforms. I'll leave a link down below in case if you'd like to check it out. Happy Friday, my friends! I am so excited you're here. As you guys can see, I'm not doing a video review. As I mentioned in my March reading log video that I had, or reading wrap up, excuse me, I mentioned that I wanted to try and do other videos. I feel like I should get out of my little comfort zone of just doing reviews. I love reviews, don't get me wrong. I will continue to do them because they're my favorite kind of videos that I film. But I do feel that I should branch out a little bit. And it's funny, this was not the kind of video that I planned to kick us off with of branching out. Originally, I was going to do a video in honor of Jessica, who had said on the, I think it was the YouTube community post, she asked if I would do, how do I organize my manga and just how do I do my risers. I had every intention of filming that video today, or for today I should say, but then I was in the car this morning as I was filming, or before the day of filming this video, I was in the car and I was just listening to the radio, and suddenly out of nowhere, I just had this idea of like why Christians should read manga, or should Christians read manga. And I just latched onto that idea and I was just like, yes, because I firmly feel and believe that Christians can read manga and should read manga if they are interested in that genre or in that kind of storytelling. I feel like there's a few different things that probably triggered this, because recently I was watching a video by The Dark Sage. It is an awesome video and I will leave a link here. He was saying that manga collecting, doing low-key manga collecting, or normal, he didn't use the word normal. I can't remember the word that he used off the top of my head right now, but he's like, low-key manga collecting is all right. And he was just talking about that no one should ever feel judged if they are reading mainstream manga. Like, that's all that their collection has. And I do not get this, okay? I do not get this. Not what the Dark Sage says. Like, I got that. I do not understand the judgment and the hate towards other manga readers that are reading mainstream manga. Dude, if they want to read mainstream manga, let them read mainstream manga. Like, that is their manga collection. I get, and you know, as a person that is very much supportive of indie novel creators and indie novel writers, I get it. Like, they need our support, and I am not knocking that, but I think it's highly unfair for people to say you don't have a real collection because it's just mainstream manga. And that those people who like, say, like My Hero Academia and such, feel like they can't come out and rep their love for this series. No, it's totally wrong, okay? You can come at me all day, but I'm gonna die on that hill. I stand firmly on it. It's something I feel like that shouldn't be said, that is being said, and I'm glad that it's being said. So hoorah to the Dark Sage for coming out with that and just saying that, okay? Part of why I started manga tubing is because I was really interested in reading manga, but I was totally terrified that I could not read manga because of my upbringing and just my own ignorance. And I felt like things that people were telling me, that manga is just witchcraft, it's just sex, it's just evil, and like me as a Christian need to stay far from that, okay? And it makes me sad because no, that's not true. That is not all that manga is. And so rather than demanding, I realize, or staying away from manga because it's not clean, and then demanding, you know, that there needs to be clean manga, I felt really strongly, if I want this, if I want clean manga, then I need to go out there and go find it and debunk the myth for other people, especially other Christians, and tell them and show them, here is a world of clean manga. Here is a world of manga that you can appreciate without going against your convictions. Now, I think it's important to note, especially if you follow Jesus, that you need to pray about what you're reading and you need to exercise discernment, because what could be okay for you won't be okay for me, and what's okay for me won't be okay for you. And that's totally okay. Like, this is all, and I say your opinion, this goes through your eyes and through, you know, what you feel God is putting on your heart. So I started manga tubing for that because I'm still a Christian, but I feel at that time, because this is so cool, I found out this was like spontaneous, I didn't even know, but in April, I think it was April 18th of 2018, that is the day I purposely read my first manga, and it was just so cool. And I say purposely, it was one that I chose, and it just is so surreal, okay? It's so surreal. And after that, I read, it was Library Wars, Love of War, and after I read that, I was just like, you know, I want other people like me to know they can read manga, they can appreciate manga, and they don't have to be afraid and feel that, like I said before, that it's witchcraft, it's evil, it's all sex. Like, no. No, that is not what manga is. I'm going to establish that right now. That is not what manga is. And I am just so bummed that I lived in that ignorance for so long and I believed what other people said. A really great example as someone that used to be part of the actively reading YA young adult books. If that was the case, if we were to take it at face value, people could say that YA is full of sex. That's all it is. It's sex and unrealistic things that the main characters do. But if you read YA and you write YA, you're going to know and be upset and be like, that's not all that YA is. You know for a fact, because you've seen it, you've done your research, you've read it, that there's so much diversity out there. There's so much variety. And that is not all what it is. Manga is the exact same way. I went through a long journey full of spoilers, doing research of going through my, I guess I would say, going through my own filter and praying through that and demonstrating discernment in my own life for me personally, that there is so much clean manga out there. And like I said, I started this channel because I just wanted to show other people that manga, that the stereotype, I feel like, and yes, I do get this as a generalization, and I do apologize because this is not every Christian I know that feels this way or even acts this way, but I still feel there is a stigma and a generalization in the Christian community that manga is evil and you can't read it. Sorry, I had to take a moment of silence for that. I think sometimes what happens, excuse me. Okay, so recently, a manga tuber that I recently connected with, thanks to Mar Reads Manga, she had shared a video with me, and the title of that video was Manga That Christians Shouldn't Read. And I was really blown away by this man's choices, and I'll leave a link here or in the cards if you like to check it out, because he said some pretty big manga titles, and hoorah to him for being brave and just sharing that video, because wow, I expected him to get a lot of hate, and I was very just blown away just by the respect and the comments by multiple people of multiple faiths. That was really, really amazing. But I think sometimes, as I feel, at least for me personally, when I think back just in general, I feel like that sometimes Christians can see videos like that, and rather than take it and think through it and pray on it, that we just get afraid. We just like, oh man, if there's manga like this that he's saying that it's cursed, oh my goodness, then all manga must be this way. I know that I was very much guilty of that. I'm so sad. I'm so sad that I felt that way. It's so wrong. It's not how I feel now. But we see those videos and we think that, and we're like, well, all manga must be this way. And no. No, 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 no. As I was talking about the YA novels and whatnot, just because certain things are popular and say that they have a lot of sex or they have a lot of language or they have graphic violence, that does not define all that manga is. It doesn't define all that YA is. It doesn't define all of that. So I definitely think that yes, that Christians should read manga, that yes, Christians can read manga. Does it take a lot of time and research? Yes. When I first started, I came to a point where I was like, Laura, you have to be willing to spoil manga for yourself so that you know exactly what you're getting into. And that first year, yes, I would read tons of reviews so that I had a solid grasp of what kind of content I felt this manga had. And that just goes into today, where I'm still very much passionate that I want other believers to know you can read manga, that there is clean manga. And I do feel like maybe my audience has changed a little bit, because like I said, when I first started filming or like doing MangaTube videos, it really was in what I felt was a direct need for the Christian community, for them to see and realize that, manga is not bad, manga is not evil, and I'm going to keep promoting it. There's some manga that probably are cleaner than others, and when we talk about what is clean manga, that changes per person. I mean, regardless of a person's faith or not, like that just changes. But for me personally, I felt that clean manga, it doesn't have F-bombs, it doesn't have nudity, and it doesn't have extremely graphic violence. Granted, I will admit, Cells at Work probably breaks that line. So it sort of depends. And I am a person, I am me. So, you know, that when I'm recommending manga to other people, I do like to keep that as sort of my line, as my basis to, especially like I said, recommending other things. Like Cells at Work is definitely more of a me thing. There's reasons why I love that. And I do hope to eventually do a review on that one day. That is a side topic. Let's get back on. So it was part of why I was really excited to be a reviewer of manga for the Clean Fiction magazine. This recently just released, and I'm just so thankful because I know whether a person is a Christian or not, that I know that there's other people out there, they're like, you know, I really just prefer clean fiction. And that's totally okay. And if you're like, Laura, I think clean fiction, clean manga is lame, you totally have that right to think that. That is totally okay. This is a judge-free zone here. I'm just sharing my story and my thoughts. But I am very thankful for this magazine, and I was able to contribute 10 manga, or 10 manga reviews, I should say, and I was so pumped because I was about to show some of them, but we'll get on that in a second, because I just think it's important, especially for other Christians, to know that there is so much talk out there. And I learned a very, very valuable lesson that when my friend and I, Mariah Jane, when we talked about the Fine anime, and we fought, we didn't fight. When we talked about anime that we felt comfortable accepting, like with contributions and pieces, Demon Slayer was a very hot one. And we originally for this one said, no, we're not going to accept Demon Slayer. But then when the second one came around, a friend that actually lives in Japan wanted to submit a piece on it. And she was sharing a little bit about Demon Slayer. And it led to me and Mariah going on an adventure here, a research adventure, discovering what does that title mean when it says Demon Slayer? It's Kimitsu no Yaiba? I think that's how you say that. What does that title actually mean? And, you know, I'm going to confess, I was really ignorant. I stayed away from Demon Slayer specifically because it has the word demon in it. Yes, that sounds so funny. Like, it's just like, Laura, you know, I look back and I'm like, Laura, you didn't do any research. You stayed away from this purely because of a title. And, you know, sometimes there's titles that you're going to be like, you know, I definitely feel I should stay away. But when me and my friend did research, and I can only speak for me, I was really humbled. And like I said, I was embarrassed and I felt ashamed that I was like, you know, when we did this research, we came to find out that demon was a link back, like in the actual Japanese title, that it was a link back to an like archaic word that meant vampire. And that's very true. I mean, if you've seen Demon Slayer or read or watched, I mean, the demons do seem definitely more like vampires than they do what I guess I feel from a Christian perspective of what demons are written like in the Bible. And that was a very eye-opening thing for me. And that was just something that happened a year ago. Like, this wasn't something a few years ago. This was pretty relevant and very new. And so, you know, we're always growing as people. And I think that's why it's really important to, yes, have discernment as a Christian when you're choosing the manga that you want to read, and pray about your choices. You know, I mean, do you feel comfortable reading this? Do you feel comfortable recommending this to other people? And with that, do your research. Do your research. I'm not saying go out there and read, you know, the manga. Definitely don't read scans. I'm not pro scan here. Sorry, anybody that is pro scan. Go out there, read reviews. Like I said, there's times that you may have to have things spoiled for you. And if you want to do research on it and you want to feel like, okay, I can read this for myself, not because your mom said it, not because someone so-and-so said you couldn't read it. Make that decision for your own. And that is something that I am always learning. I feel like just as a Christian reader, I'm always feeling like sometimes different situations change. Takane and Hana is a really good example. I was not in support of age gap romance for a really long time. I wouldn't say that was necessarily like a Christian belief, but I felt that it was very much frowned upon in the Christian community. And then I read the first volume, and it's sort of been like, you know, I want to try this out and see what I feel about it. What do I have to say about this? And sometimes I feel like that is literally the best thing to do, is to pray about it, have that discernment, and then do your research, whether that, you know, you feel comfortable reading like the first volume, or like I said, reading those reviews. Make the decision for yourself, because I feel like as a whole that the Christian community, we should not be ignorant. Yes, we are people, and there are times, like I said with the Demon Slayer title alone, where I was ignorant, but I think it's important, just like I guess this video series, to push ourselves out of our comfort zone and be willing to learn from other people, to not look down at other people and be like, oh, they're reading that evil thing, you know, that's so bad, I don't know why they're putting that in their mind. No, no, do not be like that. Do not be like that. If you don't like it, that's okay, but there's no need to bash that other person. Just like the Dark Sage said in that video that he did, don't judge other people or knock them down just because their manga collection or the manga that they're reading doesn't match what you feel they should be reading, or you feel that they should not be reading. Like, either way, like, reading manga is an incredible and moving experience, and it just frustrates me to no end, to be honest. In fact, I felt bad because last night I ranted to my friend Mariah about just how like I said, I don't understand this hate that's there for what people are reading. I mean, it's the same of when I personally came under fire because I buy my manga from Amazon, and I was so shocked because I'm like, but we're still buying manga, and yes, I think it's important to support local bookstores and such, but I mean, reading manga is a really beautiful and incredible experience. I know for me personally, it is such a happy place. I mean, yes, I definitely read sad manga sometimes, but I mean, it brings so much happiness to me. And I just want other people, especially Christians, to be able to experience that happiness through fiction, through reading, and not be like me, where you're trapped in ignorance and you're trapped in fear and trapped in lies that people have said. I mean, yes, some of that is not lies. That yes, there is sex in manga. Yes, there is witchcraft and stuff like that in manga. But again, that is not the whole thing of manga at all. I mean, it is just really not. And I just want people to genuinely experience the beauty and the amazingness that is called manga. I really do. I mean, I've always been passionate about clean fiction, and that has just carried in to finding clean manga and sharing things that hopefully I feel that other Christians can read. Yes, usually that is shoujo romance, as it shows behind me, or haiku, because we all know I love haiku. But being able to share that for me is just such a blessing. I think of who I used to be, and like I said, trapped in that ignorance and that fear and not doing research and not even doing discernment. It was just being afraid. It's why I am so thankful for this clean fiction magazine, for the opportunity to help share about manga that their kids can read, manga that their family can read, manga that they can just read and not have to worry like, oh man, like what if somebody peeks over my shoulder and they see something really inappropriate? Like, no, I have manga in here like When Will Ayumu Make His Move, which is so cute. Golden Japanesque, A Splendid Yokohama Romance. Haikyuu! This Haikyuu's amazing. So much great. And for the last one, I also did Catch Me, Fight Me, Love Me by Sharon Morishita. I love that manga so much. But I'm thankful to Amy Lynn for just allowing me to just take this passion for clean manga, take this passion to show other Christians that they can enjoy this storytelling and feature Amy Lynn, feature these reviews in her magazines. She's going to be doing more throughout the year. The next one that's releasing is going to be in autumn. There's a winter and there's a spring edition. And my goal each time around is to do 10 reviews. And I just hope that the reviews that I do here on this channel, that it can just help somebody else. That is why I love manga tubing. That is why I love doing reviews, because I'm like, if I can just share my love for one manga to somebody else and they read it and it just makes their day and makes things better for them, or maybe it speaks to them, it is all worth it. It really is. I mean, just like with finding God in anime, hopefully every person that contributed to this believes that God can speak to us in multiple ways. And that definitely includes manga. That definitely includes anime. So I really do believe that Christians should read manga, especially if it's something that they are interested in, something they're wanting to read. If you're ever looking for clean manga recommendations, I got your back. I hope that you can find like so many different reviews on this channel that are clean fiction manga. I'm trying to like branch out and not always and only do shoujo manga. I genuinely want just other people to know, like, so that were in my shoes and just like really afraid, like, oh man, I'm being a bad Christian if I read manga. No, 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 no. You know, I can't make any choice for you and say which manga you should or shouldn't read. But like I shared before of, you know, practice discernment. Pray about what you're reading. Ask guidance. If there's people in your life that you trust that you know that read manga, go ask them like, hey, have you read this? Get their feedback and then go read reviews. Like I said, you might spoil things for yourself, and I try and keep my reviews on this channel spoiler free as an FYI, but at least you know, and you know that when you go in, that hopefully most likely you won't get any surprises. That's not to say sometimes you won't. I'm looking at that manga in my head called Punch. Everybody's like, it's so cute and wholesome. That's a matter of opinion, and I don't agree. So anyway, there is stuff out there in manga that fits your taste. It may take a lot of work, and I believe it doesn't have to be scans for you to appreciate that there's English, legally English translated work that you can enjoy, that you can appreciate, and have a really great time, because manga is a happy place. Yes, for me, because some people read like other manga and I'm like, how is that a happy place? But you know what? Everybody's happy place looks different, and that is based off the genres that they read or all genres that they read. But regardless, manga is a happy place, and I want Christians to enjoy it and to appreciate it as well, just as much as everybody else in the amazing manga community is enjoying it too. I would love to hear your thoughts, friends. If you have any thoughts that you would like to just add or anything that you would like to ask or chime in, I would genuinely love to hear your thoughts. I hope that everybody stays respectful of everything. And again, I truly appreciate you guys watching this video. It's very different than what I usually do, but I truly hope it was just encouraging and just shows good things about manga, because manga is awesome. And if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and thank you so much for watching. Bye!